Paparating na sa UAPStation.
All aboard the UAPStation train.
Choo-choo! So welcome again to another episode of UAPSA Mapúa Podcast. And again, I'm Reinhardt.
And I'm Sean. And today we are your hosts for this episode.
Yes. And today is a very, very special episode since today is the Women's Month. And by highlighting the inspiring women shaping in the world of architecture.
Yes, and of course, as we all know, architecture was once male-dominated, but today, more women are leading, designing, and making an impact. So in this episode, we will talk about how women were able to redefine architecture.
So let's introduce our guest first. She is a licensed architect and a well-known content creator with a strong background in residential and commercial architecture. She is a graduate of UST with a Master's in Interior Architecture from RISD and Harvard Business School, and she specializes in adaptive reuse, BIM, and AR/VR visualization. She has also collaborated with brands like Samsung, Wilcon, and Kohler, sharing her expertise with a growing online audience. So she is the principal architect of Studio Syra Architecture and Interiors. So please welcome Architect 𝗕𝗵𝗶𝗁.
So our next guest is a distinguished architect, real estate broker, and BIRD certified professional dedicated to innovative and sustainable design. A magna cum laude graduate from UST, she has earned multiple awards, including the Rector's Award for Architecture. Her vision at work is to blend local identity with global innovation. She is the Vice President for Culture and Civic Affairs and Associate Architect of Marcan Architecture. Please welcome Architect 𝗕𝗕cie heç𝗰𝗵𝗿.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
So before we start,
Right. So we actually have some special drinks for today.
so this royalty kung saan ang bawat higop ay royal treatment.
Yes, and of course, this is the special drink that will make you feel energized and refreshed, especially when you are studying or cramming your plates.
Right. Sigurado ito ang para sa iyo. So stay refreshed and stay creative with royalty. Created with passion.
Yes. So how have you tried your drinks na po ba?
Yes, I like the strawberry. It gave me an extra boost this morning.
I like it, and I don't know why you guys didn't get large.
Actually, I think yan na yung large, no?
This is the large.
Yes.
Everyone else got yung regular lang.
Next time, mag-large lang
Like,
tayo.
kasi mahilig din ako sa mga drinks eh. Yeah.
So let's start po. Since it's about women in architecture, let's talk about how it all started. Since you are both in UST, can you share po some of your experiences while you are architecture student in UST?
Go ahead.
Sino po?
Well, UST was a really eye-opening experience for me because for the first time, I was traveling so far from my home to a school. And then when I got there, co-ed pa. And then medyo na-culture shock ako. Plus yung fact na architecture, I'm sure everyone is familiar with the rigorous processes involved. Like, I got shocked with all the drafting, the drawing. But then, syempre, you have to adjust. Like, I remember the first year talaga was all about, hala, ito ba talaga para sa akin? But, syempre, we made it till the end. And I'm sure most of you will too. So,
I could super relate to that because apparently we come from the same high school also. So whatever her sentiments are, I share, and I wanted to get into architecture because I honestly thought it was just all drawing. When I was a child, I liked painting, arts and crafts, and I was like, why not take it to another level? But when I got there, it became so technical.
true, that's the shocking part, yung drafting.
Diba? And I was like, where are all the colors? Why is it all tech pens and straight edge rulers? And I remember one of the first plates we did was when we had to write the letters on graphic paper. And then in our high school, kasi we were also taught how to write a certain way.
Yes.
So when I got the plate paper back, it was all red. Parang, oh my God, this is really for me. First plate pa lang. And then, yes, coming from an exclusive all-girls school, transitioning to a co-ed school, which was also far from the house. I think we also live nearby each other.
Aram.
Yeah. It was a very different experience that I had to adapt to. And I'm grateful for that exposure also, because it allowed me to meet more people, to experience new ways of living, and to really be able to get exposed to the real world. Yeah, so I mean, architecture was just a small piece of the pie when I entered UST, but it also opened up a whole new world of possibilities, of people that are actually also my friends now. I've learned a lot, and it was a pretty different experience coming from high school to architecture, and how it was very different also in terms of the training,
Right.
and in terms of how the teachers relate to you and everything. So yeah, I think it was a eye-opening experience also.
So, if you don't mind me asking, saan po kayo nag-study for high school?
Assumption,
College.
San Lorenzo.
Lunch?
Saan po?
San Lorenzo,
San Lorenzo,
Makati.
Makati.
Taga Makati na pala kayo, no?
And nung mga year po na nag-enroll po kayo sa UST, is it more on male students po ba yun nandun? Kasi since po ngayong year, actually dito, more on female na actually.
Wow.
Female dominated
Ngayon?
po
Nice to
architecture.
hear.
Wow.
Since sa mga engineering, ayun, male dominated pa rin
Yes.
po. Pero pagdating sa architecture, yun po yung napapansin ko today. More on female na po yung nag-aan sa architecture. So in your time po,
Wait, that's so nice to hear.
I know exactly.
No? I was go first kasi I graduated way back. Not my way back. Grabe naman yung way back. But yeah, when I entered UST, there were a lot of boys, a lot of men, and again, coming from an exclusive all-girls school, it was a big change. And there were some girls also, but I remember there was also a school, Don Bosco, diba, who was
Right.
they were very adept in learning kasi they're trained that way already, technical school then, diba? So there were a lot of Don Bosco guys in our batch, if I remember correctly, and UST and architecture in general was in the engineering building. So we had to share classrooms pa. I don't think you reached that
We're in
na,
the
no?
CFAD.
The
We share now with Fine Arts.
the Beato building,
Yes.
no? But we were in the engineering building pa. That was my first year, and there were a lot of men talaga in the area, everywhere. Parang wait.
from all
Yeah.
female school to
Yes. But buti na lang, luckily, I mean, in my class, I had a group of girls I could hang out with, and that made it comfortable. And in architecture, kasi in UST, we go block section. So,
That's yours for the whole.
parang for 5 years,
5 years?
yun na
After
yung
mag-graduate,
section
right?
mo, if hindi ka ireg.
Correct.
So, I think they really helped me adjust to the surroundings and the context of school.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to a lot of the things that you said. But for me, my first year batch, we were 7 girls and 43 boys.
Wow.
So talagang yung girls really banded together, and then we became a barkada, and they're still my friends until now.
Oh, that's so good.
Oo.
And this is
But-
batch, not the whole, not
sorry, I
section
meant
lang.
my class, my block. Yeah, 43 girls and 43 boys and 7
7
girls.
Amazing.
That's it. Yeah. And then talagang yun talaga yung pinaka part ng sinasabi kong culture shock. Kasi it was basically like an all boys block, and then we're there speculating and being the friends. Yeah. And then there was even like a thing before I was entering UST that they would say, Wow, 𝗕𝗕cie, it was really known for having cute boys.
Really?
Yeah, they said na parang people would sit in the pubs and then they'll watch daw people go in and out architecture. And I don't know, I ended up marrying someone from there.
Cute arty boys.
So, paano naman nagka-developan?
May mga meet cute kami The two of us. Taga-UST din yung mga asawa namin. Yeah.
Kwento na.
Pero alam mo ba yung meet cute? It's like yung term dati for meetups. Kasi meetups na kasi yung gamit natin.
Oh no,
Yes.
it's generation gap already.
I'm so sorry.
Yung meet cute.
And ano naman po, after you graduated from architecture school po, is there a difference po in the workplace naman? Is it also a male-dominated in the workplace?
I would say my field was also male-dominated. They also had parang, kasi in our firm, there's like designations, like you know how you can't avoid that women are really more detail-oriented and men are more about the big picture. So they would hire the men to become like the leaders, the ones who face the people in the firm, and then the women are the ones who are mostly the documentation, and then the project manager in the team. Yes. Siyempre, we have to know about design, but then we were really like, I felt like it was almost like we were the housekeepers of the team.
I'm curious though, like I know you went to RISD, right?
Yes.
Was that also the same way that it was men dominated and Harvard? Was that the same flavor abroad and here?
I would say that at RISD, because I was in interior architecture, it was a good balance between male and female because it's not even interior design, it's really architecture. So it was like more of people who were wanting to get a feel of construction and design.
Yeah. Good insight. When I also graduated, it was also mostly males. I mean, what helped really was, for me, was to get bonded with the 5-year thing and get acquainted with how the men think, do things. They had the general picture, but really the girls were doing the details and thinking of how the connections would be, nitty-gritty stuff. It was really the girls. And
Meeting minutes.
diba, writing, taking
that's all
down
us.
notes with colored ball pens.
No
diba?
men, none of the men in our team would do that.
And doon say, pa-xerox ng notebook mo. Pa-xerox ng notes. And then moving forward, when I started with my first job, actually, we were only 5 in the studio. I worked in a really, really small design studio. We were 5, but I was also lucky enough to have 4. We were 4, 3 girls out of the 4. I was lucky to have them with me also in the journey. So we had one guy with us, and he was the one checking everything, making sure the production was going well, the 3D models were good. But when you step out in the site, sometimes I find like 1 or 2 girls and everybody else are men, diba?
Correct.
So there's a lot of hesitation also in a way, but because of the practice and the profession, and of course when you're an architect, you're also a leader, diba? Parang you kind of have to box them all out and go at what your intent is for that particular meeting or for that particular site visit. So parang over the years, I guess I've learned how to focus on what is really needed and remove the noise that's unnecessary, I guess.
Correct. Like, I just also want to expound on how she said that architects are leaders because it's our design who's going to be followed. I'm not saying that we are the superior one, but at the end of the day, we are the ones who are going to check and correlate everything to make sure that the design, the aesthetics are followed based on all the technical details.
Yeah.
So you really have to have the confidence. Like, yes, we are women, and yes, we are more dominated by men. But if this is our job, you have to throw yourself in there and do it.
Yeah. And I think also it's something not taught in school, di ba? You just have
No
to
talaga.
learn how. No talaga, hindi talaga. Bala ka, di ba? No, sorry, but no. It's really you have to. It's like an evolutional adaptation or something
Correct.
that you have to figure out, and you have to have the courage to build up on your own.
Yes.
To go and do your thing without, distractions and stuff.
I have an experience where one of my first projects was with a relative. And then one day she sat me down and said, look, I'm not happy with your performance. You're doing really bad. And then I felt it was a mix of everything kasi relative mo nga, kamag-anak, tapos she's paying you, so you're nahihiya that your work is bad. And then I felt so bad. I talked to one of my mentors and I started crying in front of her and she said, Syra, do you know where you came from? Do you know your position at work? Like, how can you have to step up? Like, why are you crying in front of me?
Yeah.
Do better. Like, if you have that kind of emotional attachment, let go of it because this is about work. Syempre may nakasabit na dyan about like sa kamag-anak, etc. But you have to let go and you really have to step up to the plate.
I also like what you said that you had a mentor and you used the word she, so I'm assuming she's also a female mentor,
Yes.
right? I had that also and it was really, really helpful. Until now, I call her, I talk to her, sometimes I
also.
cry to her and she's like, I understand where you are as a mother,
Yes.
as an architect, carrying a practice, as a person running the home, sometimes you have to take a step back with something and take care of something, but I see you, I understand you, and it really means a lot to have somebody like that
Yes, correct.
watching you also, no? I think
Yeah.
that's, for women architects, I think that's a big factor also, that you see somebody doing it ahead and you're saying, okay, kaya niya,
Kaya ko.
Correct.
kaya ko rin.
Yes.
I can see her doing it, maybe there's something in me that can do that also. And
Yes.
it's modeling it also, right?
Mhm.
And it's really important na to look up to with others.
Yeah. Yes.
And can you tell us more about your workplace? Like, you're focusing more Architect Syra in interiors, right? And Architect Nikki in business development firms. What's the advantage of being a woman in your current work? Like is there advantage kapag as an interior designer, iba po mag-isip kapag women, ganun po. Iba po sila mag-design in terms of interior or what?
I actually started doing interiors when I was asked by one of my friends who came from the US. She's like, I need a new look for my room because this is the new me. I'm going to start working. And I really enjoyed that one project. And at the same time, I was working in my firm under the, parang, yes, architecture, but we were also helping sa interiors. We didn't have a contract with interior, but we were given the go signal by our team to do the interiors. And then, my client noticed that I was really genuinely interested in doing interiors. So, it's not about being a woman and being respected because of the design factor and interiors, but it's more of they see through your passion and they're trusting you because they see that you have a genuine interest, passion, and I guess they appreciate your work, diba?
Yeah. For me, I think it's really the creative side of the profession that I'm really into right now. My husband and I run the office, but parang we talked also at some point and he'll handle mostly the technical and of course the design, but really the eye for color and the eye for the details is where I come in also. And in the office, I play the role also of civic cultural affairs, meaning taking care of the people in the office, making sure that their minds are also fed, not just in architecture but also in everyday life. Like today nga, we had an activity, so it's bringing them out of the office also, and it's like a holistic kind of learning. Aside from that, being a girl in the office adds that feminine touch, I think, in a male-dominated field na sometimes people will need somebody to talk to. Sometimes a client will need to empathize with you, and that's also why I like working with houses, with residential projects, because you get to be friends with the owners of the house eventually. I remember one of the experiences I had was they were about to get married pa lang. We're looking for an architect, ganyan. And then over the course of time, they got married, they had a child, and then when we finished out, she's pregnant again. The girl was pregnant again. So we were fixing the rooms. It's like, I know when we started, it was just a guest room, but then now I need 2 rooms for my 2 kids already. So there was a lot of relationship that we built up over time. And one thing that women architects can really bring to the table, I guess, is to understand people on an emotional level, on an empathic level, because when you're designing, you also need to understand the needs, not just the physical needs of a client, but also the emotional needs of, let's say, a family, and how the experience will be when they're raising children, how the experience will be in the kitchen if the wife of the household, the girl of the household is cooking, how will she entertain people? So all of these things come in, and it's nice to have a woman's touch or a woman's experience or a woman's perspective to tackling those kinds of design problems in the office also.
So yeah, it's really important not to know your clients, right?
Yes.
Just kasi architecture, I think you mentioned in the start, akala mo po kasi na architecture is drawing lang, diba? But I think a lot of people tend to miss that architecture is just more than drawing. It's also knowing your clients, knowing the people. Kasi you should design for people then.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you say architecture, you think it's super glamorous. It's your design is there, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. In terms of design problem solving, diba? I mean, before you get to a certain design, you have to identify the problem. You have to empathize with the person because that's the concern. This is what I need. This is what I want for whatever purpose, diba? And then you go through that design process of testing, experimenting, trying to figure out how it will work. And then sometimes it doesn't work, and you have to go back again to the beginning and test out the process again until you arrive at the solution. So I think in terms of architecture also, there's more to what is seen. There's also a lot of relationship going on. There's also a lot of talking to people, learning how to deal with not just the clients, there's also engineers, there's also suppliers, there's also the people who work in the construction site that you have to kind of relate to. And as a woman, it's very nice also that you can turn on different modes, like you're wearing different hats, and depending who you're talking to, you can switch on things. So it's very multidisciplinary in that aspect.
Yes.
No?
I was gonna say that you're really going to wear so many hats in our field.
In your po ba, have you ever faced challenges po ba, like did you doubt your abilities because of your gender, or are there other people, like kunyari yung mga contractor nyo, yung mga clients, have they ever doubted as a woman na kayo po yung maging architect nila? Or do you have any experiences?
Of course, it's one big piece of the pie. Maybe no one's ever gonna say that. We're in like modern times where it's very open. Yung mga happy wife, happy life. Like everyone's, diba? Like talagang we're kind of the leaders now. We're dominating. We're powerful. We have the right to vote. It's so different now. But syempre, maybe it was a part of the puzzle to why it happened, but I would like to think of it as maybe I was too young at that time, too inexperienced. They thought that I was just nandyan for decor. You know what they usually say, ganon. But then I had one more, when I was an architect, I was working with an interior designer, and then he said, "Wow, beauty and brains." And I said, "Okay, I'll send it to you. I'll send you the drawing by today. Don't you worry." Yeah.
I think also going into college, I mentioned that I had a block that had a lot of boys from Don Bosco. And they had a technical know-how, di ba? Pagpasok pa lang, wow, ang galing na ng drafting. Parang,
Yeah.
I mean, they were never taught to us in high school.
That's because as early as in high school, they have parang yung mga, they have like these 4 disciplines that you choose and they happen to choose technical drafting.
Yes. And their tech pens, and yung gamit na, and yours is like all new, and like, wait, I don't even know how to use this. But kidding aside, yeah, I got distracted. Wait lang, edit naman to, diba? Kidding aside, there's a lot of things also in the field that you get called on for also. Like when I was starting also, diba? Parang, ay ma'am, wag kang umakyat ng ladder, ng scaffolding kasi baka mahulog ka. I'm like, sir, kaya ko to. Boss, kaya ko to. And then, mag-ingat ka kasi baka masugatan ka. You know, all of these small things. I mean, I know maybe they come from a heart of caring, but it's also like, hey, I gotta do this, or I gotta figure it out on my own also. So while I appreciate the sympathy, it's part of the job. So you gotta help me do it. Kahit nanginginig na yung legs mo when you're climbing up the building, but no, sige, kaya ko to.
Yeah.
And then also, there's also certain times that, diba, there's architect Gsalido. My husband is also architect Gsalido. So they expect when I talk to somebody or when somebody reaches out, is architect Gsalido a man? Tapos biglang, ay, girl pala, ay, ikaw pala yung nandito. It's not the other architect Gsalido. I've gotten a fair share of that. But I say, hey, you know, we're from the same office. We run the same group. It's just me representing the office today, but whatever comes out is of the same professional level and of the same professional standard. So you gotta trust me on this. There's a lot of trust also when it comes to that, but you have to be able to build that trust also and show them how confident you are and show them how you're able to carry it also when you're out there. Or sometimes they'll say, ang bata mo pa, kaya mo ba to?
Exactly.
Like, really? You can, how can I trust you with a multi-million project with the way you look? I mean, I'm not so tall pa, you know, I'm not, yeah, but I'm like, yeah, you know, you called for us, let us try to prove it by the work that we've done, and let's see how it goes. Yeah.
So regardless of gender, you should really show how professional you are and how your skills can translate into the design.
Yes.
It's also how you carry yourself, how you communicate yourself, the professionalism, and the way and the timeliness of how, especially the timeliness of how your documents are sent out.
Yes.
That's all the big piece of the pie.
Like at the end of the day, you still have to be professional about what you do, irregardless if you're male or a female in the profession. It's expected that you carry the same amount of professionalism, and whatever they have, you know, we have better pa sometimes, diba?
But riding on this question, I knew early on that I was at a disadvantage when I graduated from architecture. I knew that further in my career, the years would just add up, and I would get, with the experience and with the age, it would get better. Kasi yes, I am a woman, but also I am inexperienced and I am young.
Yeah.
So why would you, like what she was saying, why would they trust you with a multi-million project tapos to a young female architect like me? That's why I also worked hard with my experience and my education.
And on top of that, because you're young na ba, but now you're mature na, you're a mom.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, so you're a mom. How can you balance all of this, plus your kids, plus what you're running at home, plus everything? Like, we got it, you know? That's why also, I think I had to put up a lot of design systems in place so that I can be present in all aspects. And I think that's one of the challenges also if you're a female architect, because I mean, not to put any gender down, no, but men, when they're faced with a certain task, or let's say an architect, when in the office, that's all he thinks of. That's all he does. I just need to provide for my family. I need to do well so that I can bring that home to the table. But if you're a woman in the profession, you have so many, like in the computer, you have so many tabs open, lists turned on in your head, like, okay, in the office, I need to do this. But in the house. I also need to do this. My child needs this for school. My other child needs ganyan. So parang there's a lot of compartmentalization going on, but you also have to show up for everything. And over the course of time, I'm very grateful to my team for allowing me that space also, because they support me also. And I guess women in architecture cannot just do it alone single-handedly. There's a lot of effort coming from the architecture team in the office to catch you when you need to be like in school or something. And then there's also the family system. So I'm really, really, really grateful that I was able to set up that system, and I have the support of my team and our architects in the office to kind of catch me when I need to be in other places as well.
I'm also interested po in knowing the love story with you and your husband, since both architect po ba?
Talaga?
Okay,
yeah. Well, sila din. Were you classmates?
He was irregular.
Oh.
Yeah.
You wanna start?
Wow, kilig.
Yeah, parang wait lang. I'm professional. I'm gonna have to switch modes.
Yeah. My meet cute was that one day during BT class, I turn around and I say, we were in third year, and I say, oh, who's that? I thought he was very cute. And then it turns out that after that, third year and then fourth year, we became group mates for a final exam. And when it's final exam in BT, alam mo naman, you're puro like overnight and hanging out. And then yun, we got to know each other. But then he later on confessed to me that he saw me pala walking in school as early as my first year when he was second year. Yeah.
So he parang looked for your class to be
I don't know about
class.
that. Parang you don't really have a choice
Yeah,
when you're irreg.
Yeah.
So maybe we just landed there by fate in the same class.
And
But we
then-
didn't get together until much later, after boards pa. Yeah. But we were good friends who found each other cute.
Yeah. So yeah.
But
With me naman, I was in third year. That was the summer of third year. One of my professors asked me to work in his office for OJT. And that time kasi in UST, they weren't really requiring OJT. But my teacher's like, hey, you work for my office. I'm like, sir? Huh? Summer eh, parang why? Sabi niya, no, I just need you there. I want you to work in the office, and so it's like, pwede after Holy Week kasi may ganyan, di ba? Sir, can I enjoy muna? It's like, no, can you show up in the office again? So anyway, I went, and that was also the year that he had passed the board exam. He topped the board exam. So in UST, may TARP. Congratulations, architect, ganyan. Then my picture.
Say the last name, come on. It's yours.
Why not, no? Yeah, it's yours, no? So congratulations, architect John Patrick and Juan Salido. And then my picture, yung graduation picture pa with the toga and all. So it's like, okay, yeah, I've seen that. I've seen it in school kasi you see it every day, di ba? So when I got to the office, I didn't know that he was there also. So he had just passed the board exam. And that time, di ba, I guess when you're kantsawan, di ba, like, oh, kilala mo ba yan? Kilala mo ba siya? Di ba, taga-UST ka? It's like, oo. Nakikita ko yung face niya dun sa TARP, ganyan, sa dean's office. And then, so over the course, that was like a 2-month thing also. He said pa, sabi niya, Jason, what are you doing? Sabi, something. Can you be the one to teach 𝗕𝗕cie how to do the CAD work, ganyan, Revit? So ako naman, yeah, okay, sure, ganyan. Tapos sabi niya, upo ka dito, I'll teach you 3D Max pa nun eh, Studio
Yes,
Max. Oo, ganun na. 3D Studio Max. And I said, I didn't know anything about it. So parang basically, he was assigned to teach me in the office. But since it was a quick 2-month thing, nothing really happened, on my part. Diba? I'm like, yeah, I'm just here to force to do an OJT, right?
Yeah.
So whatever I can pick up, I did. And then eventually, after that pa, it was maybe fifth year when I started consulting with thesis, and we joined pala this competition, the CCP design competition. He was in the professional category, and I joined in the students category in
Nice.
fourth year. And then sabi ko, I mean, you're professional. Can I consult? Can I get your insight? And that was where we kind of started talking again.
You didn't know that he was joining at that point.
He mentioned that he was joining.
So
and
you
then
decided also to join.
That was the plate that we were required to join for fourth year. And then whoever was picked would represent the school
nice. Yeah.
in the competition. And then I think we were 3 or 4 teams that were picked to join like the final project or final presentation. So that time also I didn't know anything about software. So it's like, can you help me, lay out things? So that's where we got to talk also. And then there was a point in time also after that we didn't talk. So marami pang nangyari in between. And then it was just really after graduation that he started pursuing and getting serious up to a certain, and then that was also the time he was starting the office. And then sabi niya, since you're on summer break after graduation, why don't you join me? I was like, bakit ba? Gusto ko magbakasyon. Gusto ko mag-summer break. But then I agreed naman. Sabi, it's not naman official, but you can just help out on the side. And super startup lang that our office was at that time. So I was there in the office, but I was also not officially there. So when he was running the office, I worked outside pa. So it was over a course of 7-8 years. And then in 2010 was when I officially joined the office after the board exam, after I took the board. So I got my experience outside first. And then that was when we kind of strategized already to run the office together.
So you were a couple when you decided to join his office?
We were engaged na when I decided to join. Kasi
you made sure
diba? Baka biglang we're together in the office and then we break up.
That's
so
hard.
Like, it's harder to do it professionally.
That was a good move, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was working and he said, get experience outside first. Work for whoever you want, work for your parents. Because at that time, my parents were also, stop working with somebody else. Come, do projects for us naman.
Yeah.
So I kind of like gave it a whole sweep before coming in fully. And so he also did propose. So I say, okay, baka it's time na for us to go get together and run the office together also.
I have a question. It's my turn. So, how is it working alongside your husband in the same firm with a similar goal and responsibility? Because what we do is, I have my own practice, but I work with my husband who's a contractor in a design build firm. He has his own design build development corporation. Then mine is just design talaga, architecture and interiors.
Yeah.
So when we're working together, this is your job and this is mine. You tell me what to do, I'll tell you and I'll tell you what to do, and then let's work together. But if we had a common goal, I think we're gonna fight and argue.
Along the way, it gets hard.
Yeah, we're already fighting. We have different responsibilities. Paano na if we have the same goal of doing the design?
That's true. And up to now, we have that kind of arguments also. But what started kasi for us was we had the common goal of doing avant-garde, contemporary, different, forward-thinking architecture. I think that was what kind of brought us together. He had an experience in one of the places he worked when he was asked to do a toilet. And I mean, how common it is to do a toilet detail. But he added something to it. And the comment was, banyo lang yan. Why are you making it like some design? Why do you have to design it? And so that was where I think one of the frustrations started. And me naman, when I was in school, I was doing my thesis. One of the comments during my thesis was, grabe naman yung design mo, it's too complicated. I don't think it's gonna get built. So I go, well, sir, it's a thesis. It's from the imagination. I don't even whatever, it's not gonna get built right away, diba? I mean, if somebody takes it in, hey, great. But that was where I think the common frustration started when you're questioned and kaya mo ba talaga yan? Can that design really work? Why do you have to do such kind of design? And going into the office, since we didn't have kids yet, it was just relatively new. we kind of work together to bring that into fusion. That's why when you look at the first designs of the office, it was really agaw pansin, I think. Like lots of angles, lots of lines, lots of like, hey, you know, attention here, please. Because first of all, syempre, you're starting out, you're finding your niche, you're finding what you can do, you're finding out, and there's a lot of family projects also. And then eventually, since when the office got bigger, that was when we started working out on roles also. So over time, when it was just the two of us, we were working at a common goal. I remember when we started, we were sketching palang the logo on a tissue kasi we were having dinner, you know, it's a date. Tapos biglang, oh, what do you think? Ganito yung logo. And that was where it started. And then over the course of time, when you get married, you have different responsibilities na, you know, you get to know each other more. So you're like, okay, dito pala, we clash. So maybe there's a way we can clash in the office but not at home. And then eventually the children happened. So you're like, okay, this is another level. Like I have to be somewhere. I have to be in their school. I have to take care of them physically. I have to breastfeed. So you have to kind of like take it a step forward more by being in the office, and I kind of have to take a step back. And eventually, I mean, it doesn't get easier. The children grow, the office grows, the practice grows, and now it's okay, I'll handle, as much as I like design, I admit at this season I cannot do everything.
Correct.
So you take over that, but I will take care of the back end of the office. I'll take care of finance, I'm taking care of business dev, the culture in the office, the civic responsibilities of the office, while running the house also with kids. So over the course of time, we're just able to find our groove and talk to each other. And what I really think is open communication is important. You have to admit, like, hey, you know, before I could do this, but now I can't. So there's a lot of pride also. Like, shucks, sige, you know, you do this first, you go do this. But I know being with the kids is also a very limited time. Like, they won't be 3 or 9 forever.
Yeah.
But I'll get back to the office once they're on their own na, you know. So it's just really knowing when to put a pause, when to hold up, when to like give in, when to take a step back, but also know when to push and say, you know, but this is my gut feel, this is what I think should happen. So there has been a lot of clashing, a lot of communication, a lot of sorting things out that you can't avoid, or sometimes you bring it even to the dinner table.
Yeah.
You can't avoid the mixing work and play, and when you're on vacation, the kids want this, but you also have to go to see architectural sites, diba? So I guess to answer your question, there's just open communication and a lot of giving in, stepping back when you need to, but also allowing each other to, okay, ikaw naman. Okay, this one, you do it. This one, I can. So the vision of, you know, the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith, like, you know, when, I know they're not together anymore, but when they're, you know, when their backs are turned and they're both holding a gun and they're just circling the room, guarding each other. I think that's the best picture of how it is na lang eventually when you evolve into the practice and the kids and everything else life throws at you.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of bravery and hard work and being vocal also at some point.
How about Architect Syra po? How do you balance motherhood, your career, etc.?
Like I said, you really have to wear many hats. That in this sense, I can't really relate to the fact that she has someone that can really, she can take a step back and then someone will be running the firm pa din. So you just have to do it. Like, I had to learn that not every project is going to be 100% me. I like to do the whole design. I like to do the rendering, the modeling, and then I transfer it to my staff who will lay out and do the construction drawings. But then nowadays, you have to learn to really delegate and let go and let your people shine and grow, rather than, because it's also a way to grow, that when you give people responsibilities and when you educate and teach them to become as good as you and represent your firm, diba? So that's what happened to me. Instead of handing it to someone that I really trusted from the start, my husband, I had to hand it to people that I was hiring who I didn't previously know until I hired them, diba?
It's a lot of trust. It's a lot of
Yes.
trust talaga, no?
Okay, so I just have a question regarding your career. So, is there any project that you think really promotes diversity and inclusivity, specifically for women? Or
Science projects.
yeah, designs or any project that you've worked on?
I don't think it's really for women because it's more what you're doing for the community, for the stakeholders that you serve. It's not really babae ako, dyan kayo. It's not that. It's more what does the community need and what can I do to serve them and make them like the experience and make it a core memory for them. It's more that rather than because I'm a girl, ganyan. It's not, I don't think it's the way it's done in modern times na.
Right. Since since there are rising mga women po in this field of architecture, do you have any advice po to young women in architecture field?
Wait, you have to edit because I have an answer.
Yeah, she has a lot to say pa.
I need to edit. I have an answer.
Yes.
So, because for me, I have some clients who are also women. They are all boss babes. They are very respected in their own fields, and they are also leaders in their own whatever I'm supposed to do. So I have one project for one of my clients who owns a chain of alterations plus. So she gives jobs to so many women. All of the costurera, all of the staff who are doing the mga measuring and then the reception, all of those are women. So it's really nice to see a boss babe working with another boss babe,
Yes.
and we're running basically. I also hire mostly women because that's actually my that's actually what I stand for. I want to really be a woman in a male dominated field, and I want to empower my own staff to also feel the same way. And I know that for this girl, she really hires mostly women because maybe there are a few men who want to be costurera, but parang mostly women talaga sila eh. So it's really nice to learn from them, and also in a way they're also my mentors. I'm able to talk to these clients about things like they gave me a gardener, they gave me a yaya, they helped me run my house because I have no more mom. So I'm the one running my house, and I ask a lot of people for help with regards to handling a household. This is like years from what you guys are doing. So yeah.
That's nice. So everybody most or all 100%?
And in my
firm,
practice,
yeah.
we're mostly women now. The ones that we work with, engineers, are men.
Yes.
Yeah, but my
Okay.
staff, women.
Interesting. That's so cool.
In interiors po, mostly women stuff.
My staff, yeah.
Is yung alterations plus pa ba yung sa SM area?
SM Aura, that's me. Eastwood, Cebu, and Rockwell.
So halos madaming branches din, no?
Super dami niyang, she was able to build I don't know if I'm able to say, but she was able to build a building with her business. A building in Poblacion. The home of, as in talagang, Globe Building, Ayala. She has her own building from her humble beginnings of a clothing shop.
Women helping women, right?
Yes.
And for advice na po about future those women who aspire to be architecture, what skills, mindset or support system do you think are important for them to succeed, like in your experience?
Well, this one I really have a lot of things to say because I am an advocate also for teaching, empowering, women architects. I guess first is to know your why you're here, why you're doing what you're doing. And sometimes, a lot of times in architecture, it gets tough. diba? At some point in third year, I was saying, is this really for me? Tutuloy ko pa ba to hanggang fifth year? I mean, all the late nights and stuff. Will I be able to survive the field? But then it's always going back to why. Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to serve? And there's grit included in that, because sometimes with design, in architecture, there's also failure, there's also mistakes going on. I mean, it's not all perfect. You don't get it at the first try. There's a lot of repetition, there's a lot of experimentation, there's a lot of saying, hey, I made a mistake, I'm going to learn from it. So there's grit, there's learning from your mistakes, and acknowledging the fact that it's okay to make mistakes. Because when I was in school or even in high school, diba, that notion was, mali ka, may consequence yan. Mali ka, bagsak ka. Mali ka, grounded ka. Diba? There's a lot of that. But really, now that I'm learning, even in my kids also, we have to be able to be comfortable sitting down with a mistake and learning from it. But I mean, I'm not also saying pwede mong gawing excuse na, sige, I'll make a mistake, diba? I mean, you make a mistake once, you fall, you pick yourself up, and then you learn from it. If you make the mistake again, it has to be like somewhere along the, I did this, but ito pala, sablay pa. So, adjust ulit, diba? But if you keep on repeating the same mistake, iba na yon. There. And then it's also enjoy the process, because it's just not the end product that reaps the reward. It's going through the process and how you're evolving and how you're growing through that process also. It's not, when I started, it's not, I'm going to see myself 20 years from now. How does that look? Although you have that vision, you also need to be able to enjoy the road. It's not always going to be a straight line. It's a lot of, finding your way. Yeah, you fall down, you stumble, but you pick yourself up, and then you tell yourself, how do I evolve? How do I become better? How can I work on this? How can I get this done? Maybe this didn't work, this other ganyan. So it's the process. And then it's also learn how to be a lifelong learner. You don't stop at what you already know. Alam ko na yan. You're not on a high horse saying, I know everything. You also need to learn how to ask for help, learn how to delegate. Sometimes it's also putting your pride aside and saying, hey, I need help. I made a mistake. I need help. I need more people involved in this project. I can't do it alone. There's a lot of that also. There's a lot of trying to see if you're fit, giving up a certain season, setting something aside at a certain season, because another portion of it has to be done, has to find more, needs more attention. Like for example, with me raising children, it really took a lot of stepping back, because you have to nurture the kids and thinking na lang, is this the only thing, is this task, ako lang ba yung makakagawa ng task na to? If so, this is what's important. If I can delegate it to somebody else that I trust and is equipped, let's do that. But you oversee it also. So there's a lot of things that you have to find. You have to find yourself in the process also. And that's okay. Making all of these decisions in life is okay. And eventually, you'll get there as an architect or whatever you dream to be. You'll get there eventually at your own time, at God's own time. There. Well, she has also...
Okay, advice to a younger aspiring architect. Yes. Wait, can I have like a few moments? Because I was processing also what she was saying. She said so many things.
Yeah, a lot talaga.
Yeah.
But...
So yun, just move forward with everything. And like Architect Nikki said, everything is a learning process that you can grow from. And if you're scared, it's a sign of growth.
Yes.
So if you're like scared to take a step forward, that means that you're about to take a big leap in either your career or your self-growth. And just keep on going forward if it's related to your goal. Like, you have no choice. Are you gonna step back and do nothing instead? Yeah.
Yeah, so as we wrap up, I would just like to ask, what is the legacy that you want to leave in this world, especially for women?
That's a big loaded question.
Wala yun sa notes.
That's a very loaded question.
Yeah. Legacy.
You know, I've been accused of having something called narcissistic architecture. Like when I was in grad school, they said, you know what, this is narcissistic because you're doing it because you want to make an impact. You want everyone to know that you did it and you placed it there. And I said, so that's what I want to do. I want to make a mark and I want people to know that I was the one who did this. But I thought that it was a little strange that they said that, because isn't that what architects like? I remember when we were in college, one of our professors said, "You're like gods. You're placing. Ikaw magsasabi kung nasaan yung CR. You're telling them where to sleep. You're telling them where to read and to study." So that was our training, and then we're the ones pa who are going to give the aesthetics. So talagang everything from the start was really to make a mark. I don't know if it's what architect 𝗵𝗁𝗔 got out of this whole exercise of being an architect, but we want to show our passions and we want to translate our visions for the space and our design in the best possible way while keeping the users content and happy with what we made for them.
Wow, legacy. Kasi when you say legacy, that's already moving forward when you're not there anymore. Diba?
Exactly.
And it's a lot to ask and to put on yourself at this point. But I got into architecture because I wanted to change. Ito, talagang, this is like college person me talking, right? I wanted to change the Philippine setting and improve the things I saw that I felt I could. Not to say I wanted to be the president of the Philippines, but I wanted to do what I can to make things better for the community. And so when we were running the office, we were figuring out our vision, figuring out what we would read, what the drive was. It's really to be a spark plug of positive change and optimism in the environment or in the community that you serve. So I tell everybody in the office, I guess legacy is imparting things that you want them to carry, the next generations to carry on. And it's always, architecture is only a vessel for that. But the heart and the soul is, how do you want to help the community be a spark plug of positive change and optimism? I mean, I don't also like to say, hey, look at me every day as positive and optimistic. It's not that, you know. Sometimes I really honestly want to wake up and say, sige nga, ako naman yung, like, encourage me, because like, I'm not there. But again, going back to know your why, and that was my why. Why did I want to be this? Because I want to see how we can help improve the community. And I guess legacy is generational, right? So what I really find fulfilling is when, let's say, a new family comes to us and says, hey, I need help, I want to improve my life, right? And then over the course of time, they get a family. So what you're doing for them is making it better for the next generation. For the kids to say, I grew up in this house, I had a lot of memories here, I had a great childhood, I can raise my family, my future kids that way. And if you have that small ripple effect in somebody's life at that particular point, my prayer is it will just encourage everybody else to do the same. Like, somebody showed me an act of kindness, I will do it, and it'll create a ripple effect. Somehow, somewhere, eventually, that's the hope. So when you say legacy, it's using the spaces, using the architecture that we have, using the experience of the space to hopefully leave a mark in your own soul and eventually spread that feeling, spread that kindness to the other people that you meet every day. Not particularly just a design, but that feeling of somebody made an impact in my life, somebody was kind enough to show me the way, how can I bring it to other people? That's why I also like teaching, and I'd love to chat and talk to whoever about this, because it's really something that's deep in my heart, to not just practice architecture and design and sketch and stuff. It's really more of the soul it brings to the people, the happiness it brings to not just the clients that we serve, but also the people in the office. If they're inspired, that they can una, di ba, parang dati dinodrawing ko lang to ngayon nakatayo na yung second floor, nakatayo na yung third floor. It's also that feeling of, hey, I'm doing something for somebody, I'm doing something right for somebody. And that's really why I practice architecture. I mean, not even super practice in the field, but that's why I am committed to running the firm the way it is to be a spark plug of positive change and optimism. And I hope that's the legacy that we really leave. Not just the buildings, not just the physical space, but the experience and the heart and soul of changing lives for that particular purpose.
Wait lang, naiiyak ako.
Sobrang inspiring po.
Kasi ang...
Wow, he's really crying.
I'm here.
Yeah, that's what she wanted.
I'm getting like,
yeah.
I'm really getting, yeah. Yes.
That's also the legacy we want to achieve. And as a thank you po very much for this opportunity, and we would like have some token of appreciation for it. And this is
this is our merch from UAPS Mapúa.
Ito po.
Landlords po.
Thank
Ito po.
And
This is a Chuno bag po.
Yes po.
Oh, nice. Wow.
So we also have certificates of appreciation for you guys.
For Architect Syra
Thank you.
and for Architect Nikki po from UAPS Mapúa.
Thank you. Thank you for this.
Yeah, so
And we also would like to thank our sponsors,
933 Creatives, University Print, The Rebrand, Jolly's General Merchandising Incorporated, and of course, Royalty.
right? So yun lang po. Thank you very much po.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the talk.
All aboard, you have to train. Choo choo!
So, since the podcast is done, how is your drink naman?
I really enjoyed it. It was refreshing, not too sweet, and I love milk tea, so no-brainer.
What's your flavor po?
Cocoa milk tea.
Mine is strawberry.
Boom.
So mine is matcha and yours?
Mine is brown sugar milk tea naman po. It's good.
Yeah, mine tastes really great then.
Siguro kung regular to ubos.
So royalty,
Created
with passion.